Oh Lord, Lord, Lord. Did Lordstown Motors really just screw themselves over after having the CFO and CEO resign from the company after financial woes and kind of incorrect pre-order statements during an interview? So, kind of saw this as soon as I woke up this morning. Yahoo Finance. Lordstown Motors looks like one hot, uninvestable stock right now. Plainly put the roller coaster for a ride for pre-leered investors is likely far from over. Lordstown Motors said Monday that CEO founder Steve Burns and CFO Julio Rodriguez have resigned, and Angela Strand, its independent director, will assume the CEO position until a permanent leader is found. Becky Roof, an outside hire with extensive financial function experience, has named interim CFO. The resignations come a mere days removed from Lordstown warning in a new SEC filing on its ability to continue as a going concern. Lordstown is also a few weeks removed from telling investors it needed cash quickly if it were to meet its new lowered production targets for its electric truck called the Endurance. And shares of the company crashed more than 20% in the afternoon trading. That was probably last week, because this was posted at 10:34 this morning. And yeah, if we take here, we'll watch this video together too. See the little Yahoo Finance video.
Quarterly report. Of course, Lordstown not really selling any trucks yet, and that is exactly the question surrounding the company is, do they have orders? Do they call them orders? What do they call them? Brian Sazi. Last night, though, the real headline here from Lordstown, which was a SPAC deal, so $10 per share as it came to market. So as we've kind of coined here, it has broken the buck, trading around $8.25 earlier this morning. The company basically out saying that it's going to be half the company, I guess it thought it was going to be. How'd you kind of take this news that they announced?
Well, the way I took it is what the hell is going on? Lordstown shares are down. They're down 75% since the late September high. And you have a company that came on Yahoo Finance, CEO Steve Burns in February. Look what he told us about the pre-orders for this vehicle.
Our initial foray is into fleets, and we have pre-sold 100,000 of these to various fleets across America. So really a big appetite. You've got a fleet that's been using a 17 mile per gallon pickup truck for the last 30 years. And we come out with one that gets the equivalent of 75 miles per gallon. And it's just what we had hoped. A lot of pent up demand, a lot of excitement around it.
So from 100,000 pre-orders, according to CEO Steve Burns, who is still the CEO and the chairman of this company, now to this year, coming out last night when they reported their whopping loss, saying they didn't properly forecast operating expenses. They didn't account for another $115 million in terms of increased expenses that came out of the blue. And oh yeah, they're also cutting their production in terms of how many vehicles they were supposed to start putting out in September by 50%. Oh, and then last but not least, they said without a new capital infusion, that's a new little wrinkle to this story, they will end the year with $50 million to $75 million in total liquidity. There is a major credibility problem here at Lordstown, and it could come to a head very soon. They talked about at length in the conference call last night that they formed a special committee in light of the Hindenburg research short seller report that erupted in mid-March and absolutely hammered the stock. Results from that special committee's findings is supposed to be reported by the end of the second quarter here. This is not a good look. It's not a fundamentally sound company, and Steve Burns has a lot to answer here.
You know, Brian, I think what's interesting about Lordstown and some of the other SPAC debuts, particularly within the electric and autonomous vehicle driving space, is that as time has gone on, they become more differentiated, right? It hasn't taken long, but I think before the end of the year, all of the skepticism about them collectively will become more differentiated as we see that some of these companies have actual orders, they have actual products, they have actual clients, and some of them don't, or at least they were vastly overstated. And I think that's going to, it's already become clear in the case of some of them. And I think really, even just by the end of the year, there's going to continue to be shakeouts between those that seem to be more fundamentally sound and those that do not.
The only ones I think at this point, if we have learned anything, the only ones that investors can trust in the electric vehicle space is Tesla. It's Ford and its new electric F-150 that is coming out next year, and it's General Motors that is making a big electric vehicle push. The likes of Lordstown and Nikola, these companies have absolutely buried investors into the ground. To think that you bought Lordstown shares at about $32 in late September, and now it's under $8, and they're cutting production. They say they need liquidity. You have a whole credibility problem in terms of management, a credibility problem in terms of the board, and it's unclear to me what would change those things. Delivering 1,100 electric vehicles to commercial customers in September, which is also very much unclear at this point, despite them saying it last night, that doesn't necessarily rebuild that credibility.
Yeah, and look, Sazi, I think a lot of these companies learned from Tesla, which has had big projections over a number of years. It has grown into meeting some of those. The people who are critical of Elon Musk and Tesla will always each quarter come out with how Tesla is flattering its own sales numbers. But the way that Elon Musk went around building the...
Anyways, so as they stated in the video, let's see, Mr. Steve Burns comes out and says that they were expecting to deliver cars and have X amount of orders, 100,000 orders that haven't. Let's see. Let's watch this quickly again.
100,000.
100,000 pre-sold fleets. Now, if you're going to be creating, like he says, a truck or an electric, like a bigger utility truck that can do 75 miles to the gallon in an EV space, that's a pretty big push. And if you have 100,000 orders, I'm sure these trucks aren't cheap at all. So you should have plenty of cash. And then you're going to be saying that you're going to spend 150 million in unknown expenses that came out of the blue, which is kind of weird. But towards the end, they were talking about how literally there's like the three main companies you can believe in right now is Tesla, Ford, and GM. Now, in a way, all these SPAC EV companies that have kind of come onto the scene, like this year, last year, you have Lucid Motors, you have Lordstown. I'm not sure if Workhorse was one of them, but NIO's been huge and NIO's been growing popular too. But there's been rumors that people don't think Lucid's a real company and Lucid isn't gonna be starting production. They keep pushing production time backwards. Sure, I think the same thing could have. So as I was saying, you have companies like Lucid. People don't think Lucid's gonna be producing these cars. They keep pushing production time backwards. I do own Lucid shares, CCIV shares. I think Lucid does have a chance simply because Peter Rawlinson came from Tesla. He knows what he's doing. If he told Elon Musk, no, we have to fix something on this before we can actually do this, I think Lucid definitely has a chance of becoming a huge company, especially in the luxury world of EVs. I'm sure there's a majority of people that are going to buy EV cars specifically because they're going to be a little bit cheaper. They're going to be more efficient for the environment. They're not going to destroy the ozone. They're not going to destroy the earth. You're basically going to be charging your car and not using gas, creating emissions and everything else. So people are going to be looking for cheaper options on the EV side, but I definitely still think that people are going to be wanting to buy a luxury EV car. So Lucid definitely has the chance of being there. Now, something like Lordstown, like I'm saying, if Lordstown really screwed up this time and their stock or their company's going to go all the way down, we might see this happening. If we look at the stock itself, today it's down 19%. It started the day off at 11.41, now it's at 9.26. I was definitely thinking about buying Lordstown puts just because I saw that the CEOs did resign, and that was last week. And to see it drop even more today, it's not surprising, definitely not. If you look here, Tuesday the stock price was $16. Next day opens up at $10. If you had a bunch of shares at 16 and next day it drops down to 10, that's bad. And then it kind of ran up a little bit back to 12, and then Thursday kind of stayed there, Friday stayed, and then this morning 9:38 it just dropped. And currently 7 cents up in after hours, which isn't bad, But you know, it's interesting to see companies, and they were kind of mentioning in the video too, that Tesla has these predictions, has these targets they want to hit. Sure, they might not be insane targets because it's Tesla, but if you're a startup and you're a company that's just starting out, you don't want to be creating insane projections that you're not going to be able to hit, because that's just going to make people kind of second guess what you're doing, and it's not really a good look. And like they were also talking about Lordstown, as soon as, I think this was around November, September was the big kind of SPAC EV hype. September, it hit 29 bucks, then dropped down again November 26 into February 26. And then now you're looking at 9 bucks. Now, do I think Lordstown has a chance of going away? Maybe. There's definitely still a chance for it to come back if the replacement CEO and CFO can change this company, make it do a full U-turn and come back into life. That's definitely one chance. But this is huge news, and it's not a good look at all, considering it's down basically 20% today. So, I mean, the trucks do look good. I mean, they're definitely, they look like a EV truck for sure, similar to the F-150. But you know, if you're going to be creating a truck like this, and you can't give correct projections, you can't give the correct numbers, you can't give anything like that, that's a bad look for sure. But hey, only the future will tell what will happen to Lordstown and all these other EV SPACs that have been coming out this year, the past year. But yeah, just want to make this quick little video talking about it. If you guys enjoyed, please drop a like, drop your comments down below in the comment section about what your thoughts on Lordstown is, if you think they still have a second chance, and what the future might look for them. So thanks again for watching the video, and it's been Oscar, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.